Satoshi's identity remains one of the great mysteries in the history of technology.
Who do you think he really is?
Oh
Or
my
is
God.
it a group of people? Like if you were to speculate, like I know you don't know, but if you were to have some like dying guess, who would you say it was?
Oh man, I have almost like tried to stop thinking about it because I have gone down that particular rabbit hole multiple times. I once thought that I had found Satoshi when in fact I once thought that Satoshi was Hal Finney, the second ever developer of Bitcoin, who actually received the first Bitcoin transactions from Satoshi. They worked together early on. Hal Finney sadly died of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, was paralyzed and passed away around 2014. But I interviewed him on his deathbed. He was fully paralyzed, could only communicate with me with his eyebrow movements and with like typing through his eye movements, which was very painful and slow. But he denied being Satoshi, and his family showed me some evidence that he was not. They showed me some of his communications with Satoshi that would have been quite hard to fake. Retroactively, I looked at there are other reasons. I should say that like I came to believe that Hal Finney was not lying to me when he said that he was not Satoshi. But I thought at one point that I had found Satoshi. Then I once thought that I had found him in another guy, Craig Wright's, a really wild story that I truly don't want to talk about anymore because Craig Wright, I think I don't want to get sued by him as he has sued many people, but I do not believe he is Satoshi. And in fact, I feel like I fell there for a strange trap that like somebody was trying to convince perhaps like investors or somebody that Craig Wright was Satoshi, created a bunch of false documents. Somebody else unwittingly leaked those documents to me. Anyway, long, crazy story.
Well, the reason I ask is because if there's anybody on this planet who knows who it is, it's got to be you.
No way. I mean, I would think that like if anybody knows, it might be some of the characters, in my book who have done these incredible tracing, investigations. But I never heard from them that they had figured it out. I think if anybody knows, it would be the NSA, who, for whom like almost anything digital is like, that's their territory, and they have incredible surveillance powers. I'm kind of surprised that like it hasn't. Not kind of. I'm very. It's amazing that it hasn't come out in more than a decade now. Even from like some former intelligence person or who knows what. Like even intelligence agencies have not been able to figure out who Satoshi is. That just seems like so uncanny. I mean, I think sometimes that it had to have been a group because it's just Bitcoin worked so well. And it, the smartest hackers that I know, kind of would like examine it and think that they might have found a vulnerability, and then, oh, that's a dead end. Like somebody thought of this ahead of me. And like that, I heard that enough times that it's like, that's just so difficult for one person to create on their own. But if it were a group, that also just creates a secrecy problem. I mean, like, I don't know, two people can keep a secret if one of them is dead, right?
Exactly.
So like, I just don't know what to think anymore. And I've just driven myself crazy enough trying to figure it out, that I'm ready to leave that one mystery. In fact, I kind of appreciate that there is one mystery left in the world, even on the internet, and I should say that like Satoshi said in that initial cryptography mailing list email, participants can be anonymous with cryptocurrency. I think that like that has proven to be true, but only for Satoshi himself. Like Satoshi has remained anonymous even while amassing 1 million Bitcoins.
Because there was only one transaction, right?
Well, because he received them from mining. Mining Bitcoins.
Okay.
And then never spent any. I guess he sent some to people in test transactions, but mostly he just sat on his gigantic multi-billion-dollar fortune with like inhuman restraint, I think some people even believe Satoshi might be dead himself or herself or themselves, because who sits on tens of billions of dollars like that? Yeah. But yeah, I mean, but I guess the other half of that point I was trying to make is that everybody else, essentially, who's tried to be anonymous with Bitcoin over the years, practically speaking, has been unmasked at some point, thanks to this surprising trait of cryptocurrency that actually you can trace almost everything that happens on a blockchain. That was like the real, dramatic irony of this whole thing, is that cryptocurrency turned out to be this kind of trap, I think, for people seeking financial privacy and for all sorts of criminals who were lured in to this honeypot, essentially, thinking that they could get away with every manner of crime, like dark web drug sales, massive thefts, money laundering. Eventually, the book tells stories of essentially human trafficking or like child sexual exploitation stuff. And so many of them have been caught on like a gigantic scale, thanks to the fact that the blockchain actually turned out to be this massive collection of evidence of every transaction they ever did, if you know how to kind of crack that code.